Finally, victory.
I was just sorry about that, anyways, mate. But we'll just go straight in because I know you're a busy man
No, you
today.
know what? You know what's funny is they moved it to 2. I didn't even know it. They moved my. I already had it, so I was like, oh, I got
Oh,
time. Yeah,
that's even better then.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
one.
They moved it to 2, didn't tell me, and they text me at 2:03 and like, are you coming on? I was like, I didn't. What do you mean? So I already did it.
Class. I was wondering if we could start by talking about BKFC MarB.
Oh,
Did you
good
did
one.
you
Of course,
expect the
man.
show? Did you expect it to be as successful as it was, Chris?
Man, you know what's weird? Whenever you put on a big card, it's weird because it can be great on paper. I thought when we put on our LA card, paper it looked great. It did not live up to expectations. I thought our last 4 fights in LA, they were not good. It just it
Yep.
could be good on paper. It doesn't mean it has to be great. Man, I mean, a lot of times in these fights you put on, yeah, they look all right, and they surprise you being great. I thought Marbella looked great on paper, and it turned out to be even better than I thought. So I couldn't have asked for anything better. Every fight was amazing. I like to think it's a lot to do with my speeches. I go there and tell them they need to fight, but I don't think that's it. I think, man, people just been coming to fight lately. I mean, hell, all the cards we've been putting on lately, in my opinion, very good.
Yeah, they definitely have. Who was your standout fighter on the night in MarB?
I mean, you know what? There was a lot of great fights, but I mean, I definitely felt like, you know, the main event, both those guys, I felt like it was one of the best fights I've been to in person in an awful long time. I mean, it looked like Rocky too. They were just throwing everything they had, and they were dead tired at the end because they were just landing punches and hurting each other. Both guys getting knocked down, both guys getting up. Man, you couldn't ask for a better fight. And then and it really impressed me. Even the co-main, Austin Trout, he's winning the fight, knocking his opponent down a couple of times. Franco, I mean, after the second time, Franco said, I got to knock this guy out. I'm coming after him." And I thought in that last round, I was like, he's going to come after Trout. Trout can. A smart thing to do is just stay away, just jab, get out of the way. But I want to see what he does. And Trout stood there and traded with it. Man, made it amazing. I mean, you don't have to do that. It's not smart to do, but he did it. So I mean, those were just some amazing fights, and I don't know. I just liked pretty much every fight on the card in Marbella was good to me.
Yeah, same, mate. I enjoyed them all. And Franco Tenaglia has proven himself now in the BKFC, and he's become a big star in Spain. Like, I've spent a lot of time with Franco, and he really does live the life of a fighter. Do you think the best plans are to keep Franco in Spain or bringing him over to the USA?
Man, you know what I want to do? I want to have him fight against Spain. But to be honest with you, I hope we can move him back to Argentina and put a fight on there. I've been wanting to go to South America. We have a champ
Nice.
there. Why would you not go down there? I mean, we get somebody from Brazil, from Venezuela, we Paraguay. We go to every Ecuador, Chile. I want to get a fighter from every country and put it on there and go down to South America. That's my goal. I don't know. It might be a little. I don't know if that's everybody's goal, but hopefully, I would like to get down there. That would make a lot of sense to me. But I mean, he's so marketable. We can put him anywhere. He's gonna do well, I think. But obviously, Spain and obviously Argentina to me make the most sense.
Yeah, that'll be amazing doing one in Argentina. I know he'd love that.
Yeah.
And Danny Christie did the UK proud, stepping in there against world number one Dave Mundell. He's just recently announced his retirement as well. He did so much in such little time, did Danny, and what an achievement, Chris.
Well, man, I remember him saying when he first came and did his first BKFC, that was going to be his only fight. He was like, this is,
Yeah.
and then to get up there where he did was, amazing. He just came in and he put on the right kind of fights. He just went out and he went out on his shield. He came out and he threw down. He's not going to sit there and try and not fight. He wants to come to fight and bang and put on a show. That's all you ask for. This is Bareknuckle. I mean, people are going to get caught. It is what it is. But just getting up. My favorite thing in Bareknuckle is when the guy gets knocked down and they get up and win. I mean, but even if you don't get up and win, just getting up says a lot. I remember we've had guys when they're getting beat all 4 rounds. In the 4th round, they get knocked down with about 30 seconds left. I'm always like, what are they going to do? Are they going to be like, I got no chance, forget it? Or when they get back up and finish, I'm like, man, that's just shows the heart of these guys. Like, I'm not stopping. I'm going to fight until the end, no matter what. Man, I love that.
It's because it's never over, is it, Chris? Like Lorenzo Hunt and Mike Richmond's a prime
Uh,
example of that.
yeah. I mean, who didn't think that fight was over? I was like, man, He is killing this guy with body punches. He's
Yeah.
hurt. He's wobbling. He's done. Oh, he didn't even get up. Oh, he did get up. Oh, he's done now though. Boom. Oop. Wrong way. The other guy got knocked out. I mean, yeah. Who else? Uh, Kenny Lisea. He knocked down. He got knocked down 3 times in the first round against Noah Cutter. Gets
Yeah.
up and then knocks him out in the second round. It's like, man, this is, you always have a chance. If you're a heavy hitter, you got a lot of will to get up. You're gonna have a chance.
And what's your thoughts on Dan Chapman, and who would you like to see him out with next?
Man, I mean, he looked pretty phenomenal. So I wouldn't be surprised if they give him another decent fight and then bump him up, or they might even put him at like the guy ranked fifth right now, fourth. They might jump him up immediately. Either that or he'll get one more fight and then he'll start fighting ranked guys because he's definitely somebody that is going to be hard to deal with. So just looking so fast and crisp and accurate. So I think they're going to want to give him somebody to build him up a little bit more just so people get to see him go again. But then they're going to have to start giving him a ranked guy. I mean, I think he's up in that echelon already. They know that.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And Hannah Rankin made a debut in MarB, former world champion boxer, Scotland's first ever female world champion.
Yeah.
She had a good welcoming into the sport, didn't she, Chris?
Man, that was a tough fight. I thought that fight could have went either way. You know, it takes people a little bit of time to get. Sometimes being a high level boxer might not be a huge attribute. You know what I mean? Because this is different. You get so used to one style, it takes a minute to get in there and go, okay, this is different. I have to do this different. I got to do that different. You know, these hands can't be right here. They got to be in a different position because you're not blocking the same way. It's a lot more about hit and don't get hit and speed, accuracy. You can be a tough inside bruiser fighter, but that's not going to serve you well in bare knuckle. So just that learning curve is there. And she fought a game tough girl who came to fight, man. So I thought Hannah Rankin really turned up the heat in the last few rounds and pulled it out. But that was a bloody war. That was a fun one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the next out, and it was another great fight. Do you think Spain will also start doing the tryouts and prospect shows?
Do I think they what?
Do you think they'll start doing tryouts and prospect shows in Spain?
Oh man, I hope so. Hopefully they appreciated what we were doing there. Hopefully they thought, man, this is so much fun. This is so much more entertaining. We want to, get some grassroots fighters and things going on here so we can start doing more fights there. So hopefully they will. I think it was a big splash. I think they will start. Maybe we'll have to do another fight there. I know Feldman was talking about wanting to do one there in, March or something, a big one in Madrid. So we'll see. I think it'll definitely happen soon. Hopefully that was enough to make them be like, man, we got to start getting some fighters out of here because this is amazing.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And moving on to the amazing show we've just had over here at the weekend, BKFC 68. What an amazing card that was.
Man, I mean, like I said, you never know how they're going to turn out. As soon as I saw the card, I was like, this is way better than I thought it was going to be. I really liked what I'm seeing here, and it didn't disappoint. There was good fights. One thing I like, we always get some good knockouts, but then you always get some good just 5-round wars, and they were good, man. I really like, even the first female fight that was Natalie Gage versus Roman. That was a phenomenal fight. I mean, they went to war, and that was fun. I just like I said, the girls always impress me, but they're just they're so tough and tenacious. They're getting hit with punch. I'm thinking that's going to stop her, and they just keep going. So I couldn't find any fights on that card that I was like, that wasn't that good. I thought they were all pretty good.
Yeah, the person I was wanting to speak about on the card that just happened, and I think he's the most underestimated man on the full roster, and that's Kai Stewart. If you just look at his 4 last wins, Louis Lopez, Howard Davis, Brian Duran, and now Jimmy Rivera, like that's some resume that.
And I mean, I have to disagree with you in one area, and I don't think this dude's underrated at all. I think everybody realizes how good this guy is now.
Yeah,
I underestimated him when he fought Howard Davis. I said, okay, he's fighting a real boxer now. He's a wrestler, and he's
yeah,
got some decent. And then when he just dismantled him, I was like, wow, he's not going to lose for a while. And he's taken this sport and he's made it. He was a wrestler now. I mean, he's so unorthodox and awkward with his striking, but it works for him. He knows how to use his body, knows how to put on pressure when he wants to. He knows how to stay in his range and not in your range. He's going to fight on his terms, never on yours. And when he does that, and he wears you down with that pressure, constant in your face attack. Man, he's is the future of the sport, and he's tough to deal with for anybody. I mean, yeah, he's a problem for a lot of fighters, man. I mean, you think you how do you train against him? Who are you going to get to fight like him?
Yeah, no one can
You're not,
mimic him, can they?
nobody's mimicking that style, and if they do, it's not well. He reminds me of like a MMA, like geez, I can't Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the kid who fought Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but I'm like, how do you do that? How do you train against that? It's very difficult. So man, he's I, maybe he is underestimated, but not to me. I think this
Yeah,
guy's
it's not to
top of
me
the food
now.
chain. So
And there's talks of him maybe moving up to the 155-pound division. Do you think that'd be a good move for him, or do you think he should still stay at 145?
well, the only reason it might be a decent move is people don't realize he's 24 years old. I mean, he's still young, so he might eventually outgrow this weight class. So that could
Yeah,
be a thing, but you have to do it at the right time. You don't want to jump up and be in there where you're. I mean, 10 pounds is a pretty big difference. There's a difference in strength factor, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, whenever he'll know the time it's ready, but you don't want to rush things. I mean, I don't know. To be honest with you, I really liked what I saw from Brendan Allen in that fight that he had. I mean, I guess Timmy Mason. Um, he Timmy Mason to me had a brilliant game plan. Like you cannot let Brandon Allen stand out there and pick you apart because he's so
yeah,
fast and he's got great power. You got to get in his face and push him around. And he made an uncomfortable fight, and he made Brandon Allen fight a different style that we knew he had, and he got beat up. I mean, Brandon Allen just shows you he's good all around. He's good inside, he's good outside. You want to get in his face, you want to rough him up. I thought, man, this is not his style. This is not his pace, and he's still dominating. So that was a great, great fight for him. Like what he checked a lot of boxes I didn't know he had. I know he had inside fighting. I know he could dirty box. I know he could take a punch and keep going. I mean, he checked all those boxes in my opinion. So I think he's ready for Kai Stewart. That's a fight I'd like to see next.
yeah. That's an amazing matchup. Kai Stewart and Brandon Allen. What a fight! And moving on to the event we've just had in Newcastle. Um, Obviously, I can't remember what day it was. BKFC 68 in Newcastle last weekend. You were commentating on the show. What did you think of that show? What a great event!
I thought it was the best card we've put on in England since probably our first one, maybe better. But that was what I really liked about it. It was finally one of the times when we had a couple guys who were 3-0 versus 3-1, or we had some guys who had a lot of experience, and they were. This was the time to put up or shut up. Like there's not gonna be an easy fight. You're not gonna fight a new guy. You're fighting another guy who's trying to get up to this title. And I mean, it was amazing. I mean. There was just so many good fights. I don't know which one stuck out to you,
I've got to say Ben Bonner's knockout against
man.
Lewis King.
Keane.
That was crazy.
I thought, to be honest with you, I thought Keane would probably win that fight. I thought it was a good fight. But then when out of nowhere this right hand pops out and Keane's out, I was like, whoa! I just didn't see that coming. And it wasn't like I said. That was one of those fights I was talking about. Keane was undefeated, 3-0, looking great. I was like, this is going to be a good one. And to be over in the first one, so I mean, this is Bareknuckle. You never know. It just takes that one shot, and it landed. That was. I think that was a feature fight. Third from there. That was an amazing end to that. I didn't see it coming like that. Wow. And then Conor just looked, just totally dominant with his control of that fight. That was a lot of fun. And the main event, when you got like 5 knockdowns in one round, woo, with each guy getting knocked down, like you always just feel like this isn't gonna make it. Somebody's gonna get knocked out here soon. I don't know who's gonna be though.
Yeah, and what a boost for all the lads over here in the company, mate. With Conor McGregor showing up, like
Ah,
this is massive for the fighters. Like they get such a boost off it, and it's good for the careers and everything in it.
Man, and not only that, it just really shows me how involved Connor is, how much he thinks this is the next big thing, how amazing it is. And I'm just waiting. Dang, come on, Connor, when you fighting for us? Come on. Come on over. Come on, the water's warm. Come on in because I know he always you see his eyes light up when he talks about it. So I can tell he wants to do a bare knuckle fight.
Who would you match him up with if you were matching that fight up? Who would you match Conor with for his BKFC debut?
Debut, that's easy. Yeah, I'm putting him in with Nate Diaz. Part three, Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, 1-1 against each other in UFC. We got to settle this bare knuckle style, baby. We got to get those two guys to go at it. That would be an amazing, unbelievable fight. I don't think any other combat sport in the world could go on that night, that weekend. Nobody'd watch it. They'd be watching those two go at it.
That's what I mean. We've got the platform to do it now, DAZN, like worldwide. Like, come on, guys, let's get it
Yep,
on.
exactly. That's my thought right there. So that's what I'd like to see. We'll see.
And who was your standout fighter on the night of the BKFC Newcastle 68?
um, Standout fighter. I don't know. Man, to be honest with you, I gotta say our new champ Aggie went out there and he looked way more dominant than I thought he would. Um,
Yeah,
that guy's heavy handed. I knew his first two fights. I watched him 2-0. He got good knockouts. I knew all I had to do was land that right hand. But man, I mean, Oscar is tough, and he put him down 5 times or 4 times in the first round. Five actually. One of them was after the bell. But man, I mean, yeah, I'd like to see him come over. I think he'd do a lot of damage to a lot of the heavyweights over here in the States. So I want to see him come over and try and challenge for that legitimate title.
yeah, that'll be class. And what's your thoughts on Mick's next fight? Like, there's plans that he could be fighting Ben Rothwell in the background. I've heard on podcasts and bits and bobs. But what's your thought on that fight? Our very own heavyweight champion versus the big Ben Rothwell.
Man, that's going to be amazing. Mix has proven how good he is, but that great equalizer is that size. I mean, Ben Rothwell's a massive individual. If he hits you, he's going to do damage. So I'd like to see how Mick handles that. If he's just going to try and, you know, pepper him with punches, stay away until the right time, or if he tries to get in there and mix it up, that's a dangerous thing dangerous game to play. So I don't know. Let's. I don't see that one going the distance. Somebody's getting knocked out, so that could be an amazing. That's the fight I think everybody wants to see in heavyweight. That's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, Ben's just a scary guy. If he hits you, he's going to hurt you.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about a scary guy in the heavyweight division, that Podoma. Oh, God, that guy has got some serious thunder in his hands, hasn't he?
Oh, he's our bare knuckle Mike Tyson. I mean,
Yeah.
he even kind of goes out, looks like a little head movement, pop coming up with these hooks. Um, Nobody's made it out of a round. They can't make it out of one round against this guy. I mean, yeah, I mean, this guy. First of all, you got to understand one thing. This guy's had about 300 fights in Cuba on the Cuban national boxing team. That means he's got so much experience, but he hasn't had to show it yet, because Jesus, thanks, man, because he's just knocking everybody out in the first round. So he's got power and he's got experience. I'd like to see what happens if he goes past the round. Can he keep throwing those punches? Can he keep throwing those bombs? We don't know. Nobody can make it out to see. I mean, he might get out in the third round. Maybe, I don't know. But maybe he doesn't ever get there. It's hard to tell. So I want to see him keep stepping up in his competition and see what we can do with those guys.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And our UK champion, Conor Tenaglia, recently won the £165 title against Johnny Graham in Coventry not long ago. What do you think's the best move for Conor next? Who would you like to see him out with?
Um, I would see him trying to just step up. I would say, hey, who's number one? I want to fight number one. That's who I want to see. So whoever, because I want to make sure I win one fight and then I get my title shot. I want the whole title because man, that fight with him and Graham was amazing. Both guys got a knockdown. Graham came in, did a lot of good body work. I think Graham really impressed a lot of people. I think people hadn't seen him fight enough a couple times, so he's good, but he hasn't fought the highest caliber of people. He did now, and he did well. So that was a very good fight. But if I'm Conor Tierney, I mean, he's got such a great style of movement and trying to avoid shots. And I think he definitely needs to try and get right. I'd shoot for number one contender. Give me that guy, and let's see who's the real champ.
Yeah, that'd be class, mate. Conatini and Austin Trout. What a fight. And out of all the active UK fighters you see at the moment for the BKFC, who do you think stands the most chance of winning a world title next?
I mean, it'd be hard to go away from Conor Tierney. I mean, I mean, he's the way he fights is what Bareknuckle is supposed to be about. Hit and don't get hit. He's so hard to deal with and so elusive. Um, I think he would probably next. I think besides that, I mean, I think you have to put Chapman in that conversation just because of his skill. He's undefeated in bare knuckle right now, and what a high level boxer he was. And then he's changed that over and changed it to his bare knuckle style. So my only problem with him is I haven't seen enough of him. I've seen a little bit. I'd like to see a little bit more. Like I said, stepping up in competition level. Let's see how he does. I'm sure he's gonna pass with flying colors, but I'd like to see him all the same do it a couple more times just to prove it.
Yes, 100%. And the BKFC have done over 100 promotional shows now, Chris, and it's taken over the combat sports world by storm, especially this year. It seems to have just skyrocketed. Like, you must be pleased to be like involved with the company and seeing it rise and being a part of that. It must be an amazing journey so far.
Man, yeah, like I've told people this many times. I feel such a parallel to this in the UFC. I fought for the UFC the first time in 2000, and before Dana White and Zuffa were involved, it wasn't that. I mean, I was like, and then I fought for him again 10-year anniversary in 2003, and ever since then, I was like, this is it. This is what's gonna people want to see. This is what is gonna take over, and to see how that gradually rose to what it's became now is unbelievable. Blows your mind. The trajectory that bare knuckle is so much faster and so much more rapid than the UFC. Like I said, I fought the 10-year anniversary. They'd put on 45 fights. We're not even, we're 7 years in, six, and we've already had over 100. We're really moving at a fast rate. And I think maybe it's just because UFC has already came in and kicked down those doors and opened these barriers up. It's been easier for us. I don't know, but I think more people are like, man, this is amazing. This is a lot of fun to watch. That's what everybody I talk to sees. That's what I see. That's what I saw when I started watching bare knuckle, and that's why I want to get involved with it. This does it surprise me? Absolutely not. That we're gonna keep getting bigger and better. All we have to do is get people to watch us. As soon as they watch us, then they get it and they're in. But you just got to give them to watch it once. People think, bare knuckle, I don't want to watch that. Yeah, you don't think you do till you watch it. And I go, that is good. You know what I mean? So, but these parallels between us and the UFC, I feel like are real. It was that way for them. Hopefully, they've made it so much easier because people. I mean, man, you remember when people used to think of when they heard of NHB, no holds barred, MMA, whatever you want to call it back then. But I mean, they changed it to mixed martial arts was better. But people thought you were nuts. People thought, what's wrong with these people?
Yeah.
I thought the same thing when I heard of bare knuckle. I said, what's wrong with these guys? Why would you fight bare knuckle? I watched the fight and I go, who do I talk to do one? It just took me that quick after I watched, and I did. So I understand how it sounds, but when you actually do it and see it, it's different.
Yeah, and at the moment, Chris, who's your number one pound for pound fighter within the BKFC?
Be honest with you, I don't see how you get away from Kai Stewart. I mean, this guy has done nothing. I mean, early on, you could tell this guy was a wrestler. He was a wrestler who was just knew how to win. I mean, but now this guy's taken all his training and he's turned himself into a complete fighter. I mean, he's not a great just one punch knockout guy, but he doesn't need to be. He just continues to use relentless pressure. He fights in his range all the time. And the good thing we've learned, he's got a chin. He's been hit with some good punches, doesn't phase him at all. So this guy is a tough, hard-nosed guy who's coming to fight, and he fights his own style, and it's so difficult to deal with. So, man, he's kind of the complete package right now, and just showed it again against Jimmy Rivera. Jimmy Rivera, I thought, man, this guy's a good wrestler. He's a good boxer. This could be interesting. Yeah, Kai looked really good.
Yeah, and to say he's only 24 years old. He's got the world at his feet, hasn't he?
Oh, that's what I mean. 24. People don't realize he's a young guy. He's got a bright future. All he has to do is just keep doing whatever he's doing, and he can't let his a lot of times when you're young and you experience success, you start taking your foot off the gas and going and living the life a little bit. He just has to keep, his foot on that gas pedal and keep working hard and decide I want to be the best fighter ever. Not this, man. This is I'm doing pretty good. If he does that, somebody will catch him. But if not, he just keeps evolving and getting better.
Yeah, he does, mate. And out of all the UK fighters that you know of, who's been your most entertaining fighter? Like, who's your favourite UK fighter to watch?
Man. Hold on, somebody quick call me. My favorite UK. Man, you know what? I like. I don't know if I'd say is my favorite, but one of my favorite is Gary Fox. I like the way he fights. I mean, win, lose, or draw. I mean, that's kind of reason I like that. He's not the best, but he's a fighter who fought like I did. I think I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna put on the pressure, and I'm gonna win or lose, but I'm putting on a fight. So I love watching that guy fight. He's always fun, in my opinion. Good guy to watch. Tierney, always been really good, and I always like Danny Christie, for the same reason as Fox. But that's I never really I would never say I'm the guy who wants the most dominant champ. I'm the guy who wants a guy who's going to be tough and gritty and just come to fight. Those are kind of my favorite style fighters. Like if you ask me in the UFC in the last several years, like I was like a Robbie Lawler and a Matt Brown, and a Gaethje guy. I mean, they lose some fights, but they come to
Yeah.
fight every time and they're in your face. And so I kind of feel the same way with the BKFC. I like a guy like a Fox who's going to go in there and just try and take your head off and be in your face. And Christie's the same way. So I like those guys.
And what's your dream matchup in the BKFC? Like with the fight, not like bringing people in out of the fighters that you have got. What's the dream matchup that you want to see? What hasn't happened yet?
That hasn't happened yet. We have a good fight that's about to happen. That I think I've been really looking forward to. And we got the Marine Mike Richmond, and he's going against Jared Warren. I'd like to see that. I think Jared Warren, he's showing how much he's improved, and he fought Danny Christie, looked really good in enemy territory. Came in with his first round knockout, I believe. I mean, so he's gotten really good with his range and his different distance. But I mean, Mike Richmond has a different way of fighting. If you saw against when he fought, and even though he did lose against, man, he was bringing to him with some excellent body work. He's basically a 145-pound guy
I was just gonna say
who
that.
got
Like it's
bigger.
crazy.
He fights like a 145-pound guy, but he's 185. So he's got more power now, but he's got that accuracy. And people don't realize how accurate and fast these lighter guys are. And he's got that, but he's a bigger guy now. So man, he puts on fun fights, and I kind of want to see those two guys go to war. That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, he's been an absolute legend in the Bareknuckle game as Mike Richmond, and to think he used to fight MMA at 100 and what it was less than 145 pound,
I
wasn't
think
it,
he
in
fought at
MMA?
135 a few times.
Yeah, like and then fighting the likes of Lorenzo Hunt and these
Yeah.
guys, man, like that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and not only fighting them, he was dominating that fight. He dominated every second of that fight until the last one. Like it just takes one, but he dominated. I don't know what the fight, a minute and a half. He won the first minute and 29 seconds, lost the last one, whatever it was. I can't remember. No, it was almost at the end. It was like because it was a 5 to 10-second clap that made him come and try and finish him. I think so. It was right at the end. He won maybe the first minute and 55 seconds of that fight.
Do you think now with this partnership with the Zone and I think I've heard in news sources and that the Zone's streamed to over 1 billion devices. Like, do you think this will be the extra boost to get all these big names wanting to come over to the BKFC now?
Man, I hope so. I really hope so because this is as good as it gets to me. I can see when I talk to certain fighters, UFC fighters, boxers, whatever. I can just see some of them go, "Ooh, I want nothing to do with that." And other people are like, their eyes light up, like, "Oh, I want to do that." It's like the real fighters, the hardcore guys, the guys who are in this, whether you were making $1 million a fight or 1,000. Those people want to fight BKFC because this is as real as it gets, baby. This is as good as it gets, and they want to be part of it. So, yeah, I think the Zone's definitely going to help. not only bring a little bit more money, but a lot more eyeballs and a little bit more respect to this, and make people go, man, this is a viable option that I wasn't thinking about. Because what I always tell people, if you're a UFC fighter, a lot of guys at their career goes on, they just want to keep it on their feet. It's so much easier on your body not to be doing all the jujitsu and wrestling. People just want to keep it on the feet, but you always got to worry about that takedown and the threat. So just come on over to Bareknuckle, do some real fighting, and see. I mean, there's just a different level of toughness and grit, in my opinion, and I love it.
And I know we spoke about this the last time you were on the podcast, but what do you think the chances are next year of us seeing a USA versus Europe card?
Oh, I'd have to say it's going to happen this year. You'd have to think so for sure. I mean, especially the better, you like I said, you have some highly talented fighters over in the UK. But I mean, just all of it, even our Europe, our UK cards are turning to a lot of guys from other areas. We'll get people from 11 different countries all fighting on the same card. I mean, it's just there's so much talent. Europe. That's where my first bare knuckle fight was over in England. You guys have been doing it longer than we have here in the States. So you got a lot of talent. Uh, I, I would like to see it doing that, and we could put one on there, do one in South America eventually. I'd like to see teams start developing this. It'd be a great idea.
Yeah, I think there's talks of obviously, is it Saudi Arabia or Dubai, places like that going to be out there? Like that'll be massive as well. Hopefully, if we get in with that Riyadh season type of thing.
Oh man, I keep hearing talks about that, and I know. I mean, I feel like it's close to happening. Um, you have to go there and put on a fight. That's where it's turning the mecca of all fighting. It used to be Las Vegas. I think we're going to be, the Middle East is going to be taking that title if it hasn't already. So we have to be there. I mean, we have to be involved with that scene because, man, if they want to put on a good fight, they're willing to pay, and I want these fighters to get paid. I want fighters
Yeah.
to make I want to lure some of these people over to be like, I can make just as good money doing bare knuckle, and that's what I want. And if they hold the key, let's do it. Let's give them what they want. If that helps get our fighters to where they need to be, because like I said, I'm a fighter first and foremost. I want everybody to make money.
Yeah, definitely, mate. And before we wrap it up, Chris, is there anything else that you'd want to share with us or anything, mate, on the BKFC?
Man, just keep watching the BKFC, spread it, let people know about it, have some BKFC watch parties. Like I said, everybody I've ever seen who watches one, they want to know when the next one is because these are entertaining. I love, like I said, don't get me wrong, I love MMA. I did that for many, many years, but even when I watch MMA now, sometimes there's some good fights and there's some not so great fights. I'd say it's 50-50 sometimes, but I mean, I don't see that with BKFC. We're fast paced, we're rapid. If you watch, you're like, man, that was fun. Yeah, these are fun, and they're going to be entertaining. And we're here to take over, baby. We're here to come on and let people know this is what you want to be watching. I know so many people watch, MMA when the fight goes to the ground, like, I'm gonna go to the restroom, I'll get something to eat, I'll do whatever. But like, we don't get that, man. You better not blink because this fight might be over.
Definitely, mate. Up the BKFC. But I really appreciate you coming on, Chris, and hopefully we'll catch up very soon again on the podcast, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, mate.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Let me know anytime. I love talking with you.
Thank you very much, Chris. See you later, pal.
See you.